Our next speaker, Vijay Kamath, is somebody who's now based in Singapore, where he's regional head of North Star Asia Maritime, a regional office for the Dubai-based DTA Group. But he's somebody who's got quite a lot of experience within this region, as he spearheaded the National Bank of Fujairah's entry into marine finance in the UAE, and was head of international banking and special projects with SR Shipping. So somebody with a variety of different backgrounds, and look forward to what you've got to say.
Speaking last or second to last tends to take away most of my points covered by Andrew, George, and Nitin. But a few points that I'd like to cover. One thing that we're going to see more and more is regulation and environmental issues taking precedence in financing-related issues. We've seen more and more banks taking a lead, and we saw the Poseidon Principles that came out earlier this year, which will dictate a lot of lending into shipping. There's a lot of political influence that comes into shipping apart from the sanctions. We're now also getting politicians talking about slow steaming, which, while it helps the environment, does it really help the industry is a question that we have to address at some point. Banking industry has not really recovered from the crisis in 2008, and the oil shock in 2014 didn't really help anybody further. Portfolios have tended to shrink across the board, and then we've seen many of the banks trying to sell portfolios or get out of shipping altogether. This has resulted in a huge dearth in financing availability for shipping and offshore in general, which has required or has created an opportunity for many other players to come in. These players tend to be focused on returns, and therefore the cost of borrowing has gone up, which means the returns to the ship owners tends to be much lesser, also given the fact that the market has deteriorated. Given that there has been less investment in shipping and cost-cutting on operational matters, which will result in a lot more accidents and other related issues. There is capital available. I mean, this capital is moving towards newer industries like renewables, technology, and pharmaceuticals. While these industries tend to give returns in the short term, there might be some which would not provide the returns that most of the investors look for. There is a need for this capital to start moving back to more traditional industries, especially in shipping, given that shipping tends to be the focus and the backbone of the global trade across the world. Apart from this, there is a need for consolidation in the industry, which very rarely happens. There has been a little activity in this space in the recent past, but it tends to be focused largely in public listed companies or public listing aspirers. There's very little activity in the private space, and the fact that you can sell and buy ships very easily tends to take away the attraction of consolidation. Well, there is the drive towards digitization and related fields in shipping is warranted. There's definitely a need for more focus on operations and for focus on financing of these operations. The cost of capital, as I said, has gone up substantially. The requirement for capital within the industry is growing. The capital that needs to come in needs to be responsible in terms of the way it is invested. Responsible largely in two ways. One is to keep the demand-supply balance in check and not to go over irrationally ordering vessels, and the other in terms of climate change. I think that should cover most of the points. Thanks.
Thank you, Vijay. Thanks very much. Thanks. Thank you. So we've just heard there that the costs of capital are going up, but the returns are going down, which doesn't sound a good recipe